Hi, I'm Autumn and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in February and the books that I want to read in March. So I read 6 books in the month of February, 5 fiction books and 1 non-fiction book. The first 2 books I read in February were 2 more books in the Jedi Apprentice series. These were actually the last 2 books in the series. They followed a dual timeline, so one followed the apprenticeship of Obi-Wan Kenobi to Qui-Gon Jinn, and the other timeline followed the apprenticeship of Anakin Skywalker to Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was really interesting to see these 2 perspectives side by side while following one overarching story, and I really enjoyed that. The next book that I read in February was a book in the Hardy Boys Adventure series by Franklin W. Dixon. This is the latest revamping of the Hardy Boys series. It is for a slightly younger audience than the original series. The characters feel a little younger than their ages in the original series, though their ages aren't really stated in this version. It alternates between first-person perspectives of both the brothers, and I'm really enjoying this take. I think it's my favorite reinvention of this series. I read The Mystery of the Galloping Horse and The Secret of Hangman's Inn. This is an old mystery series ghostwritten by a husband and wife team. It follows a young reporter and his friend who is a photographer for the same newspaper, and the different adventures that they get mixed up in while they're going about their job. And then the last book I read in the month of February was a nonfiction book, I Work at a Public Library by Gina Sheridan. This is a collection of stories by Gina Sheridan, who is a librarian. She collected stories both from her personal experience and from others about different strange or interesting stories that happened in the library, things overheard, things experienced. And it was a really relatable read for me as someone who works in a public library, to see that these sorts of stories happen in other libraries as well, just the interesting people that you meet and the things that they say. And it was just a really fun and enjoyable and relatable read. And so that wraps up the books that I read in February. Moving on to the books I want to read in March, I have 18 books on my TBR for the month of March. First up, I have the books that I started in January and February that I have not yet finished. I have The Complete Sonnets of William Shakespeare, The Thief by Megan Wallen Turner, The Book of Three by Lord Alexander, The Mage of Shalane by Michelle Knudsen, Christian Wisdom of the Jedi Masters by Dick Staub, as well as Gone Away Lake by Elizabeth Enright. Next, I have a couple books that are continuing some series that I have started. I have 2 more books in the Jedi Apprentice series. These are the last 2 that I need to read before I am finished with the series. I also have 2 more books in the Hardy Boys Adventure series, and I have 2 books in the Tom Swift Inventors Academy series. This is the most recent reinvention of the Tom Swift series, and I enjoyed the first book in the series and now want to continue on with the next 2 books in the series. Then I have 2 nonfiction books. I have Walking on Water by Madeleine L'Engle. This is a collection of essays on the intersection of Christianity and writing from her perspective. I also have Self-Editing for Fiction Writers. This is a book on editing that was recommended by Ted Decker in his writing course. Next, I have a book off of my anticipated reads for 2021. That is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. And lastly, I have my pick for this month's Read Your Shelf Challenge. The prompt for this month is a book recommended by a friend. So I have The Shadow of the Bear by Regina Doneman. This is a retelling of the fairy tale Snow White and Rose Red. It's the first book in a series of fairy tale retellings that was recommended to me by my sister. So those are all the books that I read in February and all the books that I want to read in the month of March. So let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are on them and what you want to read in the month of March.